take a text box and put your name up here. Good job. Now, period, go ahead and put your period. Excellent, excellent. So I'm going to read the directions and then let's try to follow through. So write the word claim, evidence, explanation, counter-argument, and rebuttal next to the appropriate phrase. Well, on line 1, when you state your argument or big idea for what you believe, which one of those is that, Valerie? Good. Now, can you highlight the text, the definition right there? Yeah, highlight that. Now go to markup and paint that blue. Do light blue. Yeah. Okay, so there it is. So claim is always blue. If it's the wrong color, let's undo that. So go to the top. Yeah, undo it. Let's try that again. You got to select the color before you highlight. Perfect. Now, the next one, when your proof or logical support comes from reliable sources, which word in the elements of argument describes the proof? Evidence. Can you show how you could drag that box over to the middle? You got it. Now highlight that text and let's paint it green. So go to markup. There you go. Make sure it's at green. Perfect. Faster than me. Okay, the next one. What do we do when we explain our evidence? What's that called? What's that called when we explain our evidence and show how it proves the claim? What word is that? Is it explanation, counter-argument, or rebuttal, Valerie? Go. So Valerie, which word in our elements of argument describes when we explain the evidence and connect it back to the claim? Which one of those? Good, explanation. So can you highlight the correct color? There you go. It's blue because it talks back to your claim and connects the evidence to your claim like this. Yeah. Okay, the next one. So you're going to give an opposite. Somebody's going to argue against you. What do we call that when somebody argues against our main argument? No. That's how we respond to the counter argument and win it back to blue. Which word describes when we slam on the brakes? That's right. The counter argument is when we stop our own argument for a second and admit the other side. What color is that? Like a red light on a stop sign? Okay, so if it's blue, Valerie, show how you undo. Go to the top, go up here to undo, you got it. And let's try again. Sometimes, Valerie, I've noticed that if you go backwards, it's easier. If you start with argument at the end, okay, do that way, you're good at it. All right, there you go. That should be red. Okay, now it's fighting you this. So what is it called when you come back at the argument and you beat it and you bring your essay back to blue? That's right. You say, yeah, that's true what you're saying, but, and that's why we call it rebuttal. So what color is rebuttal? It's blue. Very good. So it's blue there. All right. Now, scroll down, Valerie, to the bottom, and I'm going to read this little mini essay. And when I read it, you're going to hear the writer's claim, you're going to hear the writer's evidence, the writer's explanation, explaining how the evidence shows the claim. You're going to hear a counter-argument, a rebuttal, and a concluding sentence. Here I go. Schools should require students to wear school uniforms. A study, quote, a study by the University of Houston found that elementary school girls' language test scores increased by about 3 percentile points after the uniforms were introduced, end quote. This, right here, this quotation shows that when students wear uniforms, they are less concerned about their appearance and more focused on their studies. Some people feel that uniforms take away a student's individuality and personal expression. As a result, students learn that they must conform to a certain standard. But there are a lot of ways for students to express their own uniqueness, such as through the way they think and express their views. Therefore, schools should put the focus back on education by requiring school uniforms. Let's start at the top. Valerie, do you see the writer where the writer tells us what he or she wants? Because that's going to be our claim. Can you go ahead and highlight this writer's claim and paint it blue? And then will you go ahead to drawing and click drawing on the left? There you go. And make sure it's at black. Will you circle the writer's claim? You're good. Now I would go back to drawing. Oh, that's neater to do that way. Yeah, you could do drawing too. And Valerie, go ahead and undo that, and let's show how you could also just do drawing. I know. It's okay if it's crooked too. Kind of like it that way. Awesome. Okay. Now, the writer then says, quote, "A study by the University of Houston found that elementary schools girls' language scores increased by 3 percentile points after uniforms were introduced." What color should that be? Does it sound like proof? So you went to markup, and the first one is highlight, and you painted it green. Good. Now, after evidence, the writer needs to explain how the evidence shows the claim. Tell me if this does that. This quote shows that when students wear a uniform, they're less concerned about their appearance and more focused on their studies. So that explains the evidence. So what color should that sentence be? The next sentence. What color should that be? That's right. And it says to underline as well. So you have two choices. You can go to markup and underline, which I found kind of tricky. Change the color on the underline right now. Go to the color padlet and click black. Now see if you can underline that in black. Oh, there you go. You did it really well. Now, Valerie, undo that. And let's show the students that you can also just go to drawing and you can underline that way. Try underlining that way. I know it's not as neat, but it's kind of cool when it goes crooked. That's right. Now, in a good argument essay, you should admit the other side, what they're saying against you. So check this out. Some people feel that uniforms take away a student's individuality and personal expression. This is against what they want about uniforms. As a result, student learns that they must conform. They just have to be like everybody else. So what color should that be when you admit something against your claim? It's like you slammed on the brakes. Uh-oh, we're still at underline. Let's undo that. Let's go ahead and go to undo. Click undo. Up here. There you go. And let's highlight that, because we're just going to highlight. And that's red because it marks the counter argument. Good. Now, we can't let that counter argument win. We got to do a rebuttal and bring the essay back to blue. So look at this sentence. But there are a lot of ways for students to express their own uniqueness, such as through the way they think and express their views. What color should that be? Sounds like they're arguing against the counter argument, starting with the word but, like rebuttal. So it's blue. Good. Look at this last sentence. Therefore, schools should put the focus back on education by requiring school uniforms. It's also called the call to action when you have an ending like that, and it tells the claim but directs the reader to do the claim. What color should that be? It matches the claim, so it's got to be blue. And then circle that concluding sentence to show that it's just an expression of the claim. It's telling what to do with the claim. All right. Therefore, good. So you can circle separate like that. It's true. There's the whole conclusion. Awesome. Good job. So there's the analysis of this essay.